Howdy ho there, partners. Welcome to Thingamajig's Racing channel. And we are here to witness, to pay homage to the League Racing of Ultimate Racing League with their Group Racing Sunday Championship Season 1. And this is the League of Champions, Round 7 at Road Atlanta. Oof, what a track, eh? What a track. Love it or hate it, it's epic. Right then. So, the Ultimate Racing League on a Sunday evening hosts around about 6 different leagues, and it's the top of that is the League of Champions, and then League 1, 2, 3, 4, going all the way down to 5, I believe, and they get promoted and demoted at the season's ends. So there's room to move in these championships. You should come along and join us on a Sunday evening. It would be a pleasure to see you on track. So we're into round 7 at Road Atlanta, and it's going to be 19 laps, 2 sprint races. The first one on racing softs, and it is full pelt, pedal to the metal, from lights to flag, and no messing. Then we go into race 2, and they have to use 2 compounds of tyres, the racing mediums and the racing hards, and they must use at least one of those compounds for a minimum of 2 laps. Right, before I go on to the championship, or championships, I know we have a laugh here and we have a guffaw and it's all fun and frolics, but can I get serious with you for a second? It's a matter I've noticed more and more happening, and it's rather disturbing, to tell you the truth. And I feel this is probably the time to address it. I see your pictures of your sim rigs, and I am impressed. It is beautiful. Some of your sim rigs out there, I see them on Facebook, I see them on Twitter, I see them on Reddit. They're beautiful. It's delicious. It's amazing. You've got these beautiful setups. It's like a car in your living room or your gaming room. And I am mightily impressed. But on closer investigation of most of these pictures, not all, but a majority of these fine pictures of your rigs, I see just off to one corner the dreaded white fan. What are you thinking? Are you a pro sim racer or an amateur sim racer? A white plastic fan? Is that the way you cool yourself during racing? What are you? What you need to do is get yourself in touch with Eldridge Air Conditioning and speak to them about your sim racing needs. There's no delay in this, ladies and gentlemen. If you are using a plastic white fan for venting during sim racing, you need to firstly have your head checked and then get in touch with Eldridge Air Conditioning. Drink Dubby as well, it's good for you. Right then, so the championships. I'm glad we got that off our chest and we can move on. So at the top of this championship, the League of Champions, is Toby on 203 points, followed in second place by Bailey on 155 points, but he has dropped a round. He missed a round, if you remember. Osman, also missing out on a round, is on 149 points, only 6 points behind Bailey. It is on, ladies and gents. In fourth place is Victor on 136 points. And remember, he got promoted last season to the League of Champions. This should have been a survival championship season for Victor, but he is fourth in the championship on 136 points. In fifth, also promoted last season, was Brisbane on 135 points, and he's missed a few rounds, so he's not going to be dropping any of them points, but he does need to be here to make up ground. And he's just moved ahead of Smith, so that's not too bad. Smith dropping down to 6th on 130 points this season, having a dip in form, but I feel it will come back. I believe in Agent Smith, and I think he's going to pull this one back come the end of the season. In 7th, we have Toten on 124 points, and we've had some great showings from Toten of recent. 8th is Fitzy on 112 points, with Grasshopper in 9th on 111, Unforgiven on in 10th on 110 points, another fresh promotion, a green lad in the league, and he's holding his own at the moment. Dergview is in 11th on 81 points, with Neil Farmack moving up from 13th to 12th with some great showings of recent, is on 49 points, ahead of Grahamad Ali, who's now dropped into 13th on 47 points. Kenny D has moved himself up from 15th to 14th on 37 points, with Wacky Racer slipping down to 15th on 25 points, and Callum not struggling, but not here enough to score the points in 16th on 24 points. So then bottom 3, it's a big one for the bottom 3 there. It's starting to get very, very serious. Also running alongside this championship, they have a kind of like a teams championship, hence the name Group Racing, Group Racing Sunday Championship. And so everyone represents a team. Well, 2 people in each league represent a team. And that counts up to 8 teams throughout all 6 leagues. All the points are counted up, and they have themselves a little battle. So at the top of that championship is the Touring Cars representative on 1,299 points. In second place is the Formula 1 representative on 1,246 points. In third place, I've got Martini. I think it's the Porsche Cup representative, is on 1,063 points, with in fourth place the NASCAR representative on 1,003 points. In fifth place, we have the World Endurance Championship representative on 981 points, with sixth place Red Bull, I don't know, that might be Rally, on 974 points. In seventh place, Iron Forge on 839 points, with Liquimolly in eighth on 804 points. That's all the championships now. That's the bit you have to skip ahead, sorry. I'm not going to write like time chapters in the things. I don't know how to. You'll just have to skip until you see the camera move. That's usually the trick. If you don't care about the championships and me blathering on, then yeah, just keep pressing the little skip forward until you see the camera move, and then you know I'm actually doing something. It's a tip. It's a thingamajig tip on the Thingamajig Racing channel. I'm purposely not moving the camera now, so balls to you. I'm drinking my coffee. Ah, there you go. I'm having an argument in my own head with people watching, and I'm in my head thinking, they're sitting there thinking, this is boring, do something, come to watch a race, not you. Right, okay. So they qualified ahead of these 2 races, so we will see how that qualification went with how the grid looks from reverse up. And I've got to must say, what a disappointment. Not the Ultimate Racing League, but the showings today. Only 10 arrived for racing. So Road Atlanta getting in people's heads and screwing with their minds. They can't, they're too scared of the track. They fear the track in the Nissan, so they've no-showed. No, I'm sure they gave good reasons. Dog hair homework, you know. Wife has given me that look. Anyway, the grid. In 10th place, we have Kenny D. Didn't show up for the first 4 rounds, but he's absolutely landed since returning, and he'll be looking to get some shuffling going in this race. In 9th place, we have a Grasshopper, and he had a podium a couple of rounds ago. No, he didn't. He had 13th. Sorry, I read that wrong. But he's been knocking on the door for a podium in a few of the races. Can he turn this one around from here? In 8th place is Unforgiven. He had a podium last time out, and he'll be looking to get some scalps leading down that hill and around that corner and going for gold. In 7th, we have Smith, who is trying to turn his championship around. He's just been overtaken by Brisbane in the championship, but I do believe we may not see Brisbane today. I'm not sure, though. That's just a rumour I have heard. In 6th place, we have Fitzy. That's having an absolute banger of a season. The second half, he's really got on top of that Nissan. And even with a win under his belt, he'll be looking to make up ground from 6th place. In 5th place, we have Victor for the Red Bull team, and he's had a glorious championship with a whole host of, he's had 5 podiums so far this season, and he is wearing those badges with absolute honour. All hail Signor Victor. Well done, bud. You're having a cracking season. Osman then in 4th, started the season like a firecracker, top of the championship for a good while there, and now he is looking to make amends. He's starting in 4th, and is that a smell? I can win Osman in the air? Possibly. Keep them peeled, ladies and gents. It might happen. In 3rd spot, and oh my, hello. The Lick and Molly car has had a facelift, ladies and gents, and I likey. They've taken on the Dubby Yellow, and they look absolutely dazzling. So all hail the Lick and Molly car. That's Bailey in 3rd spot, missing last round. He'll be just easing his way back into the action. In 2nd place, Neil Farmack coming back with a bang. He got 2nd place in the last race, and he's qualified 2nd, so you know what he wants. He wants the big WIN, and we'll be here for it. And that again for, wow, let me count them, ladies. Let me look at the stat books and count how many poles Sir Toby of Tobyland has had. Ooh, he didn't get one until round 4, but since then he's got himself on pole 3 times. Ha ha. Eh? Well done. So that's the grid, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fight, and Toby, he needs to score points. Looks like there's no Brisbane to annoy him, but Osman and Bailey are here, and again, there's a gap in the points in the championship, but they have dropped their rounds. So without further much ado and delay, we shall proceed with this race. Yes, this is what you're waiting for. Let's go. 19 laps of Road Atlanta. Beautiful. They cross the line now to start the race. Toby leading them away with Neil Farmack right there, right now. And it looks like Bailey may have an issue from Osman. Osman hot on the trot straight away. A little gap has opened up between Osman and Victor, and it's a tight one there. Bailey having a good sniff at the back of Neil Farmack to see where he's been. And Victor then, he's gapped it out a little bit. He's gone a little wide. He's getting a little stressful in the S's. And he's got Fitzy right there, and his teammate Smith going for a move, and it's beautiful from Smith all the way up 2 spots through his teammate Victor making a small mistake. Fitzy trying to avoid, and Smith picks up 2 spots straight on the first lap. Hubba. Now Kenny D starting at the back. He's made his way up past Grasshopper. Oh, Grasshopper was mid-pack. He's dropped back somewhat there, and Kenny D at Unforgiven's nightmares now. He's in his waking dreams, ladies and gentlemen. And he's going for gold. No, because it looks like Grasshopper is up the side of... No, Grasshopper's backed out of that one. Sorry, I was pointing the camera in the wrong place. And Victor's got another wiggle on. Victor not comfortable at Road Atlanta. Has lost it all on the first lap. Toby then still leads with Neil Farmack. And oh, look at this. Bailey, who last we saw at this point was being pressured by Osman. And these cars, they're barely able to keep them on the track. They are skittish. This is going to be a tough race. Toby opening a gap, and Bailey is still holding on to second, but Neil Farmack is throwing everything at him. Everything he's got up his sleeves at Bailey to try and take that second place. Again, having a look. Doesn't want Toby pulling away so far like he has been. And Bailey at the moment making the Lickamolly and Nissan as wide as possible and holding back the field. Neil Farmack and Osman in pursuit. Smith is closing in on him, ladies and gentlemen. Fitzy is in 6th with Unforgiven in 7th. Unforgiven getting a little bit further away from Kenny D, not under the pressure he was on. And now Grasshopper in 9th place is starting to start his race. And Victor is having to shake off those bad vibes from the first lap conundrum. Toby's got an absolute mile ahead of Neil Farmack, who's made the move on Bailey. Oh, we'll have a look. I bet it happened about 1 million years ago. When? Jesus, we must have just cut away from him. So coming down the hill, he's already done it. What am I doing? Jesus, when did he make this move? Oh, you're joking. No, I'm not going back. No, that was always it, wasn't it? Neil Farmack was ahead of him. For heaven's sake. Sorry, I'll go back forward again. I don't know where I am in the race now. We're still on lap 1. I got past lap 1, didn't I? What a mess. I apologise. So as Toby's dropped back, hasn't he? That's what's confused me. Because Toby was quite far ahead. Or no, I'm still too far back, and now this is where Toby's making the ground. Ooh. I think we've seen all this, but Neil Farmack really is applying the pressure as Osman there as well. Smith closing in. And then Fitzy. Got a bit of a gap between the front of him and behind him, but Kenny D, Grasshopper all closing in on each other. And Unforgiven at the moment is trying to cling on to the back of Fitzy to avoid the trouble that's coming his way. And Victor trying to play catch up now after his terrible first lap. Toby then, meanwhile, is pulling out that gap that we spoke of, and here we go. It's Bailey. It was Bailey that made the move. I apologize. No, Neil Farmack still holds on to it, and I think that's when I got confused. So we're back to where we were. So yeah, I think it was just Bailey had a little look-see up the inside of Neil Farmack there, but Neil Farmack was not having any of it. And now Bailey has to give it a go again as we hear some sort of wheel squeak. And was it Neil Farmack? Because now Bailey's getting a run on him, but unable to do so. On board with Bailey as he puts on the pressure to Neil Farmack, and Neil Farmack dealing with it, ladies and gentlemen, dealing with it wonderfully, just not being rattled whatsoever. And don't ask me about the penalty system, because I went through that numerous times thinking it was fine and I got penalties. So, but these guys look like they're okay, but the penalty system around here is quite shocking. So I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, and off there for Neil Farmack ahead. And is that it? Is Bailey going to pull the trigger? As we have Smith in the chat saying good morning. Smith, absolute banging move. That first lap, bro. Superb. And here we go then, Bailey. After we we saw Neil Farmack put a wheel on the dirt. And that is all Bailey needed to get by. And Bailey with a championship in the... I mean, Neil Farmack, he's fighting promotion as well. I mean, he's fighting to get out of the relegation zone. So he needs the points as well. But Bailey in that fight with Toby in the championship cannot let Toby score too many. I mean, as it is, Toby has absolutely stretched his legs. And with those two bickering behind him, has managed to pull himself out a rather comfortable gap. And now Bailey has a mountain to climb if he wants to take the fight to Toby. Meanwhile, Neil Farmack still wants that position back. Agent Smith has got himself ahead of the Osman. And Mr. Smith, he was sandbagging in qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. I think he could have got pole. Look at him. Look at him burn, baby, burn. Osman then slipping down and into 5th place with Fitzy. And Kenny D, oh no, Unforgiven, slipping back 2 positions. It could be the slipstream. I do believe the slipstream was playing a rather large part in some of these races. So, yeah, there you go. Look, you see Kenny Grasshopper close in on Kenny D rather quick in that area. So, yeah, the slipstream working for the driver behind. But no, Kenny D holds his line and he says, thou shalt not pass. And Kenny D then holds it together, started in 10th, up to 7th, and is absolutely owning his race line. Grasshopper then now has to worry about giving a toe to Unforgiven. Unforgiven, does he have it? Does he have that move up his sleeve to put on a Grasshopper? At the moment, Grasshopper bouncing between attacking Kenny D. Kenny D kicking up a bit of dirt there. Has it slowed him down somewhat? It does seem like it has, as Grasshopper closes in, and Kenny D trying to shove his Iron Forge car right in the middle of the road, so nothing shall pass. But Grasshopper and Unforgiven are all up and in his busyness. You better watch out. Toby still leads from Bailey and Neil Farmack in 3rd place. At the moment, we're looking at the battle for 7th place between Unforgiven, Grasshopper and Kenny D. And I'm sure pretty soon Victor should be catching. No, he's dropped back a bit. He's got himself a lap now, but yeah, I thought he'd be closing in on these guys. And Unforgiven then pulls the trigger. Can he, under the brakes? He's onto the apex. He's around the outside, but I think Grasshopper might have the line. But here we go as they come around, and now Grasshopper is on the inside, and it should go back to Grasshopper. It's going to be tight as they go too wide through the final corner at full pelt, going up to the first corner, side by side. Grasshopper just slightly ahead, and Unforgiven absolutely dealt it then. He dealt it great, but Grasshopper had the answers for that one, and Kenny D loves this as he can pull away from these two having themselves a dogfight, and Victor could close in on the pair of them. Toby at the moment getting it all his own way. Lovely gappage. Ooh, the car is swinging, baby. And Bailey paddling like frantically behind him to close in on Toby. Neil Farmack staying with Bailey to keep him honest as Osman's back past Smith again, into having a battle royale, and Fitzy looks to be closing in. 18.5 for Fitzy, Smith a 19.5, a second slower than Fitzy that time around. Osman an 18.5. I reckon Smith probably got a penalty. That's my guessage. I'm not going to start. You see what happens when I try to go back and find fights. I missed the point totally. So Toby then leads from Bailey, and Neil Farmack in the shout still for the win, with Osman in 4th place, Smith in hot pursuit with Fitzy in 6th, not too far behind also. Kenny D pulling away from the battling Unforgiven and Grasshopper. They still battle on to this day, and Victor is catching. He's just done a 19.8 and will be catching them pretty swiftly as they battle on, although Unforgiven now has pulled himself out a little bit of wiggle room. Smith says, looks like a glitch, I reckon. Victor had hard on looking at his pace. Oh, really? It could be. It says softs, but yeah, he's looking like he's struggling for grip. Toby, meanwhile, absolutely loving life at the moment, stretching his legs. Doesn't have to set the world on fire. He's leading the championship, leading the race. 3 poles. He's rich on sim racing royalty. Bailey, though, wants to make him work for it, wants to make him sweat. And Neil Farmack back in the ring and back in the fight again, ladies and gentlemen. Osman still not to be counted out. He was championship leader, don't forget. He still has a bucket full of points under his belt and is a threat. He is a weapon. Smith, he wants that 4th place back. He's had a taste. He's had a taste of it and he fancies it again. Osman last time out an 18.0. Smith 18.1. He's got to do better. Fitzy closing in 18.1, also matching Smith to put the pressure right into the cockpit of Smith. Kenny D, meanwhile, he looks like he's closing in as well. An 18.6 for him last time around. He's going faster again, but he's still in sight. We're at 8 laps down of the 19. We're nearly halfway through the race. Unforgiven has dropped Grasshopper, and Grasshopper picking up a penalty after doing one of his fastest laps, and that will be music to Senor Victor's ears, but he really is struggling with pace. So it might be a glitch, like Smith says, and he's on hard tyres, even though it is showing softs. Toby then comes around to start his 9th lap, halfway through the race. And Bailey still in hot pursuit. But what is this? Neil Farmack has dropped behind Osman. Oh my G's. What go on? Bet you it was a penalty. And Smith, he fancies a little bit of this action as well. He wants to give Neil a little tickle up the inside. And Neil, though, he wants to get back past Osman. Osman flying at this point in the race, staring at a podium. Getting up there with the boys, dancing with the champagne. This is what it's all about. And Osman so far enjoying 5 visits so far to the podium this season. And that's including his win. 2 second place, 3 second places and 1 third. So back to the podium for Osman. He shall go after a week's break at that retreat in Tibet. It's done. Well, he's paid me to say Tibet. It wasn't. It was Vietnam, and it was what you thought it was. He went to Thailand, and yes, it was before the surgery. So Osman holding ground with Neil Farmack chasing him down, and Smith in hot pursuit. Fitzy, meanwhile, cannot close in on Agent Smith. He just cannot get where he wants to be, and Kenny D chasing him down. Kenny D, remember, not having the best of qualifying, is absolutely owning the track now. Unforgiving. I've got to say, standard of racing here. I mean, it should be expected, I suppose, League of Champions, but usually Road Atlanta does throw even the best into the mire sometimes, and these guys are handling the track with absolute class and style. Grasshopper, meanwhile, trying to climb back on the horse, or Unforgiven, whichever you want to call him, and Victor, meanwhile, is just having his own nightmare with a glitch. Lap 10, Bailey. Toby calls. We're out though. And 17.9 last time out for Bailey. Toby doing a 17.7. So Bailey still coming up slightly short, but he does look closer to Toby. I don't know. Toby of 18.4. That is quite relatively slow for Toby. And Bailey is 17.9, so half a second faster. The tyre wear looks nominal between the two of them. Nothing in it. So maybe Toby just pushed a little too much in that last lap. He can afford to give up a little bit of time, but he doesn't want to give up too much because Bailey is ready to leap. Neil Farmack back ahead of the Osman, and we missed it both times. Unfortunately, Osman's last lap, though, was not too hot. And Neil Farmack, 18.5. And Osman may be under a bit of threat here from Agent Smith. And Agent Smith could sneak himself a little podium here, get himself a little podium action. He sat there behind 4th and 3rd, but they both are rather swift. So Agent Smith, he's going to have to think smart on his feet. And he's going to play the toe game for sure. Stick onto the back of Osman, pull himself a lot closer, and try and keep it smooth to the start-finish straight to see if he can finish the job. And, through the S is very tricky, up the hill, full-on accelerator, letting the aero do the job as he comes down the hill again, and again, full-on whack. No fear going through that final corner, coming down into the braking zone, and there is nothing there. Osman is handing nothing out. Osman, not even a small whisper of a chance as they chase Neil Farmack, and the sun looks like it's getting rather low in the sky. We're on lap 12 of 19 now. Toby leads from Bailey. We're watching the battle for the podium here from Agent Smith's eyes as he chases down Osman and Neil Farmack. Behind him, Fitzy but not quite a threat. He will be a threat if anything came undone. So Fitzy is laying in wait. I tell you what, he is more of a threat than he has been so far in this race. And these three should be well aware that they, again, look, Smith looking for a toe from Osman. And I think Osman might be picking up. No, I think that's it now. I think this is the toe that Smith was looking for before. I think Osman was still picking up a bit of a toe from Neil Farmack. And now that toe is broken, and Smith is starting to get a little juiciness from Osman's rear dairy air, and Neil Farmack breaking away from the pack. And now again Smith in that toe, coming up into the braking zone, and Osman's sphincter must be absolutely winking and blinking, and just waiting for the moment when Smith pulls the trigger. Fitzy then closing in on those guys. 18.7 last time out. Smith doing an 18.4. Osman an 18.3. So Fitzy a little bit off if he's wanting to catch them guys. Kenny D slinging Nissan, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him go. He's pulled away from Unforgiven. And Unforgiven, after his dice with Grasshopper, has pulled away from the Grasshopper, who's currently in 9th, ahead of Victor, who is having an absolute nightmare of a first race. He just can't get out of the 19s, and we know he qualified rather well. And we think there is a glitch. Look, his tyre wear's not even going down. And let me leave you with no doubt, Victor knows how to use a set of tyres, and those softs aren't. They should be half warm by now, if that was the Victor we all know and love. Toby then just getting the fastest lap last time out, just to try and crush Bailey's world, but Bailey will not be deterred. Oh my word. I mean, Toby's fastest lap was a 17.545, and Bailey posted a 17.588. I mean, if you're talking about nothing in it, then that is exactly the definition of nothing in it. Neil Farmack, they've caught him up again. And these three absolutely bringing the entertainment today for us guys. The Neil Farmack, Osman and Smith dicing, and Fitzy just one of the support characters in this one, but he will be in there if these keep doing it. These keep having it. So Neil Farmack at the moment trying to keep it clean and straight, not to get a penalty. That is the biggest hit around here, and at the moment they're all holding ground, giving each other a bit of a toe. Oh yeah, look, and this is where Smith can't quite catch up with Osman, because he's now getting a toe from Neil Farmack, and it is frustrating sitting behind a car that's gaining a toe on someone ahead. Now, can Osman stay close enough to Neil Farmack to try and get a toe down this part of the track? I don't know. I don't think he's going to be close enough, but Smith is very much in there. And again, they go through the corner, lap 15 of 19. And these three, they're kind of cancelling each other out. The toe is kind of messing it up for these guys. Neil Farmack doing an absolutely stunning job staying ahead of the pack. Osman, Smith, so Fitzy, 18.5 last time out for him, 18.3 from Smith, and Osman an 18.4. So again, Fitzy just a tenth or two out, with Kenny D all on his own now. He's all on his lonesome, and Unforgiven trying to catch him. A 19.0 for Unforgiven last time out against Kenny D's 18.9. Nothing in it between the two of them, and Unforgiven just trying to find a few of those extra tenths to try and close in on Kenny D, just to pick the toe up at least. Victor just living with those tyres at the moment. Toby, meanwhile, 3 laps go, and I tell you what, Bailey ever closer. What is here? What go on? An 18.2 and an 18.8 the last 2 times from Toby. Is he not happy? I mean, the sun's gone down, so I believe the track may have got cooler, and his tyres are worn a little bit. Maybe he's not happy with the conditions, but Bailey absolutely slinging it and closing in on Toby. Is he going to be able to take the win away? Still 3 laps to go, and Toby losing a handful of time to Bailey as Bailey tries to close it up and give us an absolutely explosive end here for the first race. Neil Farmack still leads this little trio as Osman and Smith scratch their heads on what to do about Neil Farmack. And Fitzy trying to close back in. He wants to get involved in that action as well. Kenny D looks to be like he's being caught by Unforgiven. And Grasshopper also trying to close in. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We nearly missed something. See, I saw that one. So Neil Farmack, he's been battling it out with Osman and Smith all the way through this race. Coming down into the braking zone. Everything looks tidy. Everything looks, oh, a little squirrel, but nothing to be concerned about. But it was. He had to have a big lift, obviously. Huge lift for Neil Farmack in the middle of that corner, giving Osman the way through. And Osman now back up and into third place. Maybe Neil Farmack was getting sick of being the tow leader and thought, you can give me a tow for a lap or two, but it's a risky move if that's what he was thinking. Leaving himself wide open to Smith now. Bailey's gone through as well. Holy baloney. What the hell's going on here? I'm watching one overtake and then another. So Bailey then has been slowly, steadily closing in on Toby for the last few laps. And here we come through the first corner. Toby is struggling. He is struggling for pace, ladies. He's gone a little wide. Oh, pissing heck. Oh, I've got to do it again. Sorry. I clicked on to Bailey, but he obviously had made the move. We'll look at it this angle. So Toby then, yeah, struggling with grip, it seems, on those soft tyres. Goes out a little wide, and there you go. Bailey goes through to make himself on top of the pile. Bailey. Now, can he deal with Toby from behind, though? That is the question. Many men have not been able to deal with it. Tetra in the chat saying, "G'day, Thinger. Is this live?" No, well, the race isn't live. I am. Early for you, Poms. You're right. Well, I work night shift, so this is my evening. I'm like you guys. I'm an honorary Oz. I won't do the accent, though. Don't you worry. Yes, so, no, the race is not live. It's from Sunday evening. But, yeah, I'm live at the moment, replaying the race like it's live. It's all an illusion. You have to pretend it's all real. So, Bailey, then, what a grand move on Toby. And Toby obviously struggling with the tyres. Osman, then, is he too far back? Yes. In answer to that, there's only 2 laps to go. And Neil Farmack under pressure from Smith. Agent Smith absolutely has hammered it home today. He qualified pretty poor for him and had a blinding start. And now it looks like he's starting to put pressure on 4th place. Smith started in 7th. Made a great start, and now he's knocking on the door of Neil Farmack's position. This is absolutely banging. And Tetra in the chat saying, "Oh, okay, I work Arvo shift here in Oz. Early shift for you guys." So Smith then absolutely slinging Nissan, but with all this battling, it's allowed Fitzy back into the game. Fitzy enters the chat, ladies and gentlemen. What's he got? Kenny D, all on his own. He's liking this. A nice, pleasant race. No stress. With Unforgiven chasing him down. Unforgiven a 19-2 last time out. Kenny D a 19-0. I think he's safe. I think he is safe. Grasshopper hunting as well. It's hunting season and he wants himself an Unforgiven. And Victor on a glitched set of tyres. Just, oh, hang on a minute. Shall we go back a little bit and see where that began? So Toby closes right in with that toe that we talked about. And he pulls alongside Bailey. Bailey, oh, pissing heck. Bailey's on the inside. There's a little bit of knocking. That was Toby knocking on his door asking if he's okay, and Toby just edges a little bit ahead now, and Bailey around the outside hanging that car. He's gone to mow the lawn, he's back on the track, and he's gone into the last lap. Toby leads, and Bailey ran out of track there, and we won't go back. If it's a steward's thing, we'll just say we saw the racing from our angle and we can all make up our own minds. But yeah, Bailey out wide there in from my angle, and but it could have been something more. I should look. Oh, no, I don't want to throw shade on great racing. I don't think Toby run him off the road. I honestly think Bailey ran out of road. Osman in third with Smith now ahead. Smith's made the move. Neil Farmack, like Toby, was struggling with the tyres, although Toby has found a little spurt, hasn't he, somewhere, and Fitzy is closing in on Neil Farmack also. Kenny in seventh, and I'm worried he's going to cross the line. No, he's not. Victor still in 10th with Grasshopper in 9th, Unforgiven in 8th, Kenny in 7th, Fitzy, oh, he's picked up a penalty, so Neil Farmack could be safe on this final lap. Not from Smith though. Smith, you horrible man, he was in that position for ages. You wait until the last lap to take it away from him. How dare you? And Osman there in third. Bailey, oh poor Bailey, as Toby comes around to take the win. Well done, Toby. Bailey absolutely cracking fight. Osman back on the podium, ladies and gentlemen, and back in the winning circle. Smith in fourth ahead of Neil Farmack, with Fitzy coming home in sixth. Kenny D brings it home in seventh. Unforgiven grabs himself eighth, with Grasshopper coming home in ninth. And Victor, yeah, Victor, he had a nightmare there. There's definitely something wrong with his tyres, because look, there's no tyre wear on those hard tyres. Absolutely no tyre wear on those hard tyres branded soft. So we'll have to blame Pirelli for that one and say you branded your tyres wrong. Right, okay. I didn't want to, but there'll always be the question of what really happened. So we... Oops, no, I don't want that. So going back a lap, and we'll sit. From what Mark Wilson, who does an absolutely banging stream, you should subscribe to him, calls the Drone Cam. So Toby plays it up the outside. Very risque move. There's no contact. I thought there was a door knock there. Toby just eases himself up ahead, and then, oh, there was a little knock. Do you know what? I'm not sure. I don't think... I mean, it's not for me to judge. I don't know why I'm suddenly acting like some sort of steward looking at it all from angles. But I think, Jesus. I don't think there was anywhere Toby could go. He was ahead. But I think, yeah, Bailey turning in on Toby there is what's knocked him off the track, rather than Toby knocking him off the track. So, yeah, there you go. It was... I'm going to call racing incident. You guys can call it what you want. So, Toby for the win. Super stuff. And what a battle there on the final lap. Absolutely loving it. Great drive from Toby. Bailey getting himself second place. And I don't know if he'll be salty about that. I mean, it was a cracking race, and all's fair in love and war. Osman back on the podium. It's been a couple of rounds, but Osman is there. Smith in fourth place, very respectable, knocking on the door of the podium. Neil Farmack, the tyres just let him down in that last couple of laps, I believe, and he ended up in fifth, with Fitzy coming home in sixth. He was always there, wasn't he? He was a voyeur of that race. He was just watching the racing ahead of him. Kenny D brought it home in seventh, and remember, qualifying in 10th. That's a cracking little race to be had. Unforgiven coming home in 8th place, with Grasshopper finishing in 9th, and Victor unfortunately being glitched and only finishing in 10th with a rough set of tyres. Yeah, let's move on to race 2. Don't forget, using mediums and hard tyres. And it looks like that sun is pretty much setting. So we are going to have ourselves a night race. Agent Smith in the chat saying that's what they call a push to pass. And Tetra, that was some adrenaline for the last few laps. It was unbelievable. Right then, race 2. Let's get it on. Let's see if Bailey can get his revenge. Yeah, I imagine he might try the push to pass move. Now, remember, they like to show you the results on the start page because that's where you put results. So try not to look. I'll be quick. That's what she said. That's what he said. That's what I said. Here we go. See, that was quick. But I've got to pause it. I've got to pause it because I'm not that quick. No, that's not the button I want. Oh, more of a t'other. And now this is why I do this Monday mornings when I haven't been to work all day, all evening, and I've still got some shiny in my head. Right then, so Victor looks like he's starting from pole ahead of Grasshopper with Unforgiven. Oh, and I've got to look at the tyres, and bloody hell, there's so much to remember, you know. You wouldn't think how much there was to remember. So Victor, we've got starting on the medium tyres ahead of Grasshopper, who's also starting on mediums, and Unforgiven in third. So they're going to just try and bolt on those mediums up ahead. Kenny D starting from fourth on the hard tyre. Bold move. Fitzy in fifth. He's opting for the medium tyre. Neil Farmack will be starting sixth, and he's opted for a nice hard compound. Then Smith in seventh. He's also got hards on. And Osman in eighth with hards as well. Hards, a popular option here. Bailey opting for that hard tyre, and Toby also going hard. Right, that's the grid. Without further delay, we shall get on with racing. Victor leads them away. He's on the medium tyre. Let's hope it's the tyre it says it is. Let's hope it's not an imposter. The lights have gone, and Victor onto the throttle, but he's got Grasshopper all up in his business, and Grasshopper absolutely no delay off of that start. He is chomping at the bit, and Victor maybe a bit napping on the rolling start there, because Grasshopper seems to be all up and in his business, and Unforgiven coming in late. Wowzers, Unforgiven not even bothering with his brakes, and Grasshopper, bang! Something totally went wrong in Grasshopper's car there. Oh my word, he just went sideways. I think his wheel gave up, didn't it? If he uses a wheel, he's on the grass. Oh no, it was a slide. It was a slide. Yeah, no. Poor Grasshopper. Taken out too soon. Too soon. So Victor leads. Unforgiven now up into second place. Kenny D scrapping with Fitzy, with Neil Farmack in fifth. Smith in sixth place, in amongst it all there. He's got Osman breathing down his neck, with Bailey also in eighth, Toby ninth, and Grasshopper now taking a final spot and then getting a penalty for his pain. Victor then. This is a great spot. We know Victor can win races. And could this be it for Victor here? Movement. Kenny D getting overtaken by Fitzy, but they're side by side. It's not over yet. But Fitzy then turns into the corner. And Kenny D, can he do a swap around? He's looking at it. He's evaluating the situation. Neil Farmack in with a shout as well, but he's on the hard tyre. Kenny D's also on the hard tyre. Fitzy on the medium tyres. That answers that question. If Kenny D can come back at him, the answer is no. His tyres aren't grippy enough. So Kenny D then sliding out wide. Kenny D sliding out wide. And that puts Neil Farmack up and into fourth place. Smith all up and in his chuff in fifth. And Bailey is making his way through ahead of Osman and Toby in eighth place. Kenny D then He's got some damage, but he's getting moving, and beautiful spin out from Grasshopper. Absolutely delicious. That's what we like to see in style. If you're going to go off, at least do a 360 whilst doing it. And it looks like Grasshopper not enjoying the lack of grips in the dark. Victor being caught by Unforgiven. This is the newsflash. Victor is under the pressure from Unforgiven, and they've made a break from Fitzy. Fitzy again, just can see it happening, just out of reach. Poor Fitzy. Neil Farmack on the hunt, and Smith in there as well. Who's this? It's Bailey. Bailey coming through, cutting through the crowd, and Smith had nothing to say about that one. Absolutely, Bailey loaded it into that corner, and Smith just trying to stay out of the way of harm. And Osman in 7th. Toby still not getting by these guys. He's seeing Bailey now make up 2 positions on him, and he will not like that. He will not feel comfortable with that situation. But it's his fault. He got Bailey all riled up in the first race. He's got to live with the consequences of his actions. And he's riled up Bailey now, and Bailey's baiting for blood out there, slicing and dicing through the pack, whilst Toby stuck behind Osman. Kenny D in 9th, and Grasshopper, we are calling these the casualties of Road Atlanta, and they really have paid a price. At the moment, Victor still leads ahead of Unforgiven. They have to use both compounds of tyres in this 19-lap race, both mediums and hards. The rule of the tyre is that they must use them for at least 2 laps. One of the compounds for a minimum of 2 of the laps of this track. But as we've seen with these Nissans, they have to stay on the hards a little longer than 2 laps because the mediums don't quite make the way through. So Victor then leads. We're on lap 4 already, and we've had no pit stops. Well, how are the hard guys doing back here? Neil Farmack, oh, someone's pitted. Osman. Osman's pulled the trigger. He has gone for an early pit stop. I say early, it's lap 4. They only have to do 2 laps on him, but Neil Farmack a moment ahead of Bailey, who we've seen slicing and dicing. He's ahead of Smith, and Toby there in 7th. He's decided to stay out with those hard tyres, and we saw Toby did suffer a little bit with tyre wear in the first race, and now he's closed in on the back of Agent Smith, and Agent Smith really just a sitting duck at the moment as Toby tries to go around the outside, but Agent Smith says, "They shall not pass yet. I will hold my own." And Toby respects that, I am sure. Meanwhile, Bailey pulling away after being triggered in the first race. Neil Farmack hunting for podiums after missing out in the first race. Fitzy chasing down Unforgiven, who he's just matching Victor at the moment. And Victor making his way around, suddenly thinking, oh wow, look, I've got pace now. And poor Victor absolutely got GT'd in that first race. He got cased. Bailey has now visited the pits. How will Osman do? Oh no, Osman getting a 1-second penalty for his pain. So Osman, he's gone to the medium tyres, but we've seen him picking up a penalty on his outlap. And Bailey then is on the move, and he should be safe from Osman, you would think. Victor still leads from Unforgiven with Fitzy in 3rd. Toby now up and into 5th ahead of Agent Smith. We saw them 2 dicing as Bailey came into the pits, and Osman then does not gain the position from Bailey. The early stop not helping. I imagine that 1-second penalty really stitched him up on that one. Grasshopper yet to pit and only just closing in on Osman, and it looks like Kenny D has made a pit stop, I believe, I think. But he's not got saying he's gone an outlap, so but I'm pretty sure he's made a pit stop. Fitzy's the fastest man out there at the moment. Victor leads ahead of Unforgiven, but Fitzy is the man on fire. as he hunts down the two ahead of him. These guys are going to be trying to build up a lead from the guys who are going to be ending the race on mediums. Smith has decided to pit on lap 6 with his hard tyres. That's Neil Farmack and Toby yet to pit so far. Bailey, he'll be hoping to get out ahead of Smith. Smith's on the move. Bailey's coming up and over the hill though. It's going to be tight stuff. No, I think Smith's easily out ahead of Bailey at this point. No, here we go. It's a really weird pit lane. I got lost when I did it on Sunday. So, no. Jesus, Smith might be behind Osman. Unfortunate for Smith, he's behind Osman. Unbelievable stuff. So, Osman, that early stop has gained him ahead. Oh, no, and a half a second penalty for Agent Smith. When life gives you lemons, it also rubs them in poo. Grasshopper then chasing him down. In the chat, Shadow Rider, a blast from the past. Oh, he's gone. He had said hello, I'm sure. Kenny D then in 10th place. So Victor leads the race so far, yet to pit for the hard tyres. There's Shadow Rider again. Shadow Rider saying, oh, I missed your voice. Hey, man, I missed seeing you out on track, bruv. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Excuse me, I caught that. Wonderful. Boozers. So, Victor then leads Unforgiven in second. Fitzy, fastest man on track. He is absolutely blazing. Neil Farmack, still yet to pit. He might be the last as Toby comes in and makes his pit stop. Bailey is through. Bailey is through ahead. So is... No, Toby. Toby may have just caught Osman out here. No, Osman's through. Osman just about gets through. And Toby proves you can make a pit stop without getting a penalty, it would seem. So Osman on a nice bedded in set of medium tyres ahead of Toby, with Agent Smith just behind him on fresher tyres than Osman. Osman is starting to chew those tyres up slightly. And Bailey then in 5th, chasing down Neil Farmack, who has yet to pit. Fitzy, Unforgiven, and Victor won't be pitting for a short while yet. And Victor absolutely running a stunning race at the moment. Flawless, one would say. Neil Farmack then in. That is the last of the hard runners. Those that start on hards have now all pitted. Bailey then looks to be, is he going to get that 4th? Can Neil Farmack get out ahead of the bell? It's unlikely, isn't it? Neil Farmack then has been released by the pits, and Bailey is bringing the noise. But like, unfortunately, I said, for the rest of these guys out there, Toby triggered him in race 1, and now no one stands a chance. Fitzy picks up a penalty. He's so fast that he's got a penalty, and Bailey's taking his fastest lap as well to rub salt into it. So Fitzy about to pick up a penalty. And again, don't forget, these are racing with Bailey, but they're a pit stop ahead. And they're trying to rinse these medium tyres, get as big a gap as they can, and before they come in for those hard tyres. I mean, they're going to want to use the hard tyres for the minimal amount of laps. And at the moment, tyre wear not looking great, I would say, after 9 laps of 19. Victor starting to chew into those medium tyres. And don't be fooled, I think those medium tyres, they're not very drivable when they get about halfway worn. Unforgiven, similar tyre wear, but looking sturdier behind Victor. 18.9 last time out for Unforgiven. Victor an 18.9 as well, exact same times. Unbelievable stuff. Fitzy's paid that penalty. And it's not cost him too much. He's still in visual sight of the two ahead, as Bailey absolutely ripping up Road Atlanta now. He's really going for it. Osman in a shout still off of the back of the podium from race 1. He is ignited. He's ready. Toby in that championship fight, remember, with Bailey and Osman. He's got to make his way through. which is a tougher thing to do than it sounds. But Toby at the moment flashing us purples, doing a super job. Neil Farmack made his pit stop, come out ahead of Agent Smith. Oh no, Smithy picking up a penalty. Been a naughty boy. He was a naughty boy. Grasshopper then in ninth. He'd be liking. Oh, he's picked one up as well. Everyone's naughty. Telling you, it was god awful Sunday night. Penalty city it was for me, and I didn't even think I deserved half of them. Not even half of the penalties I got I deserved. It was terrible. Terrible, Kaz. Be ashamed. You and your sadistic coders should be ashamed of yourself with the penalties around Road Atlanta. It's not on. Victor still leads with Unforgiven in second, and Fitzy is right in this fight. Fitzy, I believe, I don't want to talk out of turn, but Fitzy, yeah, winning in round 5. Has he got it in him again, ladies and gentlemen? Is it there? Bailey, though, he's been unhindered, hasn't he? He's been pretty much free reign in this race. And like I mentioned, someone might have riled him up. Someone might have rattled his cage in race 1. So he's racing with the blood lust, the blood rage. So these three might just not stand a chance against an unimpeded Bailey that's out for proving points and stuff. Meanwhile, Victor doing a grand job, but we're on lap 11. And now I'd start saying his tyres are pretty ropey. Pretty ropey indeed. But Unforgiven's must be worse. He must be struggling with them. He's dropped back away from Victor, and he's moved into Fitzy's radar. And Fitzy, happy to take the position, I imagine. He will take that burden away from Unforgiven, if that's what Unforgiven would like. And at the moment, though, Fitzy, similar tyre drain as the guys ahead of him, but seems to be driving with it better. Bailey behind them after a bit of a gap. But the question is, when is the best time for these guys to make their pit stop? We've got around about 8 laps left. 8, maybe 9 if you count the one we're doing. So it's oh yeah, Unforgiven pulled a big gap out there. Fitzy must have had have a little lift. He had to have a little think about that corner. And Unforgiven, yeah, stretching his legs somewhat. And Victor, absolutely loving life out front. No stress, no pressure. This is the way. League of Champions, leading. What was the bother, eh, Victor? What was the worry? Getting promoted up into the League of Champions. Oh, Unforgiven, did you get promoted up into the League of Champions as well? Are you leading? Cracking. And Fitzy in that fight. Bailey hoping to be ahead of those guys after the pit stop, and in all fairness, he probably will be. I mean, he's been absolutely slinging Nissan here in America today. Toby, he's ahead of Osman, but Osman, more than a match. More than a match for Toby. Toby, 18.3 last time out. Oh, 19.5 for Osman. Did Toby just get past Osman? I think we may have missed a move there. But Osman right there, and yeah, Neil Farmack. Smith's dropped back, hasn't he? No, Smith's got the fastest lap of the race, but then lost 2 seconds the lap after. But so far, Smith the fastest man out there. And Grasshopper in 9th, Kenny D in 10th. So Victor leads, but they're all waiting for him to pit, and his tyres are getting longer and older. Fitzy's ahead of Unforgiven. Oh my word, I'm missing it all, aren't I? So Fitzy, he got the move done. We said he was looking a lot more comfortable on a worn set of mediums, and Unforgiven, is this the time to pit? If you're losing positions, then you're losing time, and you've got to make a decision. And he's coming around with a lot of thinking to do, but he's only got a few corners to think about it. Bailey, meanwhile, Looks like a cop car in the dark, a British cop car if anyone's watching from another country. But yeah, that luminous yellow, give it some blue lights. Woo 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 woo. All the police. Toby, meanwhile, bit of a gap between him and Bailey. It's a lot to do with a short time to do it. Osman in 6th, Neil Farmack in 7th. So Neil Farmack slipping back here, not keeping pace on them medium tyres as well as the others. Smith as well seems to have dropped back a bit. And Grasshopper and K&D, we saw their pain in the early ones. So Unforgiven did make the decision to make the pit stop, losing too much time on an old set of mediums. Fitzy's going around on vapors, and Victor still with fuel to spend, but the tyres are pretty old. Bailey should be able to get Unforgiven, but Unforgiven is on the move. Bailey's coming around the final corner along the start-finish straight. Unforgiven not quite at the pit exit yet. Bailey is showing him ahead, but now it's showing Unforgiven ahead, and now it's jumping all over the place, and it looks like Bailey does just about get Unforgiven. Oh, and Unforgiven must have cut the pit lane entry, because he's picked himself up a huge 3-second penalty, and Toby will be there for that. That's going to hinder Unforgiven somewhat on his outlap. Osman and Neil Farmack having themselves a little battle themselves. Neil Farmack on the medium tyres, 18.6 last time out for him, his fastest so far in the race. And oh no, Osman's tyres are starting to look very used. Very used. He was one of the first to pit, was he not? And he's got a good 5 laps to go on that set of mediums. And Neil Farmack, one of the last to pit on the hard tyre, is closing in. Now Fitzy makes his stop, and that's another one for Bailey to aim at, but he's not as close to the end. Fitzy might get out ahead of Bailey. What am I saying? I've said that every time, and he's easily gone by him. So Bailey, yeah, look, he's coming up now to the pit lane. Fitzy's moving, but Bailey, it looks like it's another position. Can he do it to Victor as well? That is the question. Fitzy then coming towards the pit lane exit as Bailey goes through the first corner, and another position for a man who is on a mission. Bailey only has one objective in this race, and God help anyone who stands in his way. So Victor still yet to pit, but it's definitely going to be at the end of this one because his fuel tank, can he take any more, Captain? And Bailey in second. Fitzy, huge penalty. Did he just make a pit stop? Has he made a pit stop? He has. He's gone onto the hard tyre. He's out ahead of Toby. Oz, he's done really well as Fitzy. I mean, yeah, of course we saw him in the pits. But yeah, picking up a huge penalty like we saw Unforgiven getting. And Victor into the pits as well, and Unforgiven with that 3-second penalty has dropped behind Toby, Osman and Neil Farmack. So is the same going to happen to Fitzy? Poor Fitzy, it's too painful to watch. Too painful to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Can Unforgiven gain a spot? Oh, and Unforgiven does, and there you go. Fitzy gets shuffled down into 7th, all because of a silly little infringement in the pit lane, and that's racing, I suppose, especially with the FIA, and if your name's Ocon. And there you go, another 3-second penalty there for Victor. Unbelievable. And this one couldn't be handed to Bailey any easier, but he didn't get a 3-second penalty when in the pits, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the difference. That's the difference between a champion and 4th in the championship. 3-second penalty. Toby then, he might gain from Victor's penalty also. Osman in 4th, maybe could do. Victor on those hard tyres, and he's got the painful drive up into the penalty zone, and Bailey absolutely is going to hopscotch past him as they hit there we go, and there's the lead for Bailey. Absolutely stunning stuff. Victor's still going. Where's Toby? Toby, he's got the momentum. Toby's got the momentum, but Victor needs to get to the braking zone before Toby catches him. And he does, but still that is the dilemma, that Toby is on medium tyres, Victor's on a fresh set of hard tyres, but he's going to be down on pace. But at least Victor's had a whole race to practice on those hard tyres in the first race that were tagged as softs. Toby is going for a move though. The medium tyres absolutely, ooh, mama. Victor not messing around. Victor just held strong on the apex there and made Toby give it a second thought. Toby backing out of the move and did not want to risk it at the moment. Points are everything. Championship is king. Positions are, if he gets it wrong and goes off track, then he's going to lose a hell of a lot of points, hella stacks of points. So Toby playing it safe behind Victor at the moment, and that is good for Victor. But Victor trying to brake earlier, and Toby's like, no, just go through it, go through the corner, we haven't got time to hang around. And Victor then, how long can he keep Toby behind? Meanwhile, Bailey absolutely slinging Nissan out there in the lead, lap 17 of 19, and Toby now through. Toby's now through, but he made a hash of it. Oh my good golly gosh. And that is exactly what Toby was not looking for, because he didn't want to lose a handful of points. He was being sensible up until when he wasn't. And now Toby down in 6th. Bailey thinking something called karma, I'm not sure. And Victor is in 2nd. Osman on the podium. Neil Farmack's got something to say about that in 4th. Unforgiven in 5th. Toby in 6th now. It's gone wrong, sir. And Smith just trying to keep Fitzy at bay, but he sees a whole lot of Toby in front. Got a whole lot of Toby. Got a whole lot of Toby going on. So Smith fancies it, but Unforgiven on those hard tyres. Toby on the medium tyres with a grip advantage over the hard guys. Is looking to get himself back up ahead of Toby. Oh, they're teammates. I mean, Unforgiven. They're teammates, so Unforgiven really probably would lift and let him by, because the team is everything. So, I don't know. We'll never know. Yeah, I think Unforgiven made that easier than he could have done, but I don't think he actually lifted for him. He just probably braked a little earlier in the zone. And Toby up and into 5th, chasing down Osman, but we have just gone through the line to start the final lap. Bailey with a country mile behind him to Victor, and Victor again, he's ripping up the rulebook here in the League of Champions and adding another podium to his cap. Neil Farmack in 3rd as well. He got himself past Osman in the end, and Neil Farmack looking good for a podium as Osman struggles with tyre wear. Toby up and into 5th. Can he get Osman before the end of the race as we go to... No, it's not Bailey. Who's that? Someone's spinning around in the... Oh, poor Grasshopper having a mare. And Toby coming up the straight now. Victor not that far behind. Neil Farmack, I just don't think he's going to catch Victor before the end. Osman in 4th. Toby chasing him there. Unforgiven in 6th. 7th for Smith. 8th for Fitzy. 9th for Kenny. Grasshopper in 10th. But it's Bailey who came around to take no prisoners today in race 2 for the win. Victor comes home in 2nd place. Great drive from Victor, with Neil Farmack rounding out the podium. Toby 4th, Unforgiven 5th, Osman in 6th. Osman dropped down to 6th. 7th for Smith, and Fitzy in 8th. He must have been right with Smith. Kenny D, it wasn't his race. From lap 1 it all went wrong, and he just had to get his head down and crack on. And Kenny D then grabbing himself a 9th spot. But still, you know, while there's so many missing, it's good points on people who are ahead of him in the championship. And Grasshopper also, maybe not a great race, but still more points than the guys who weren't here. And these guys are ahead of him in the championship. So it's good stuff as he comes up and over the final corners to cut the line, and he takes 10th. He got a penalty there, but I really don't think it matters. So it was Bailey that reigned supreme in this race. He really did. You could see from lap 1, he was absolutely slinging this, and he was not playing, ladies and gentlemen. Bailey was here, and he took a win, and he took a whole host of points from Toby, which is just a bonus on top of the win, I guess. Victor in second withstood all the pressure from Toby right near the end there, and absolutely reigned supreme. Well done, Victor. I am mighty colour me and impressed, Senor Victor. You are having a season and a half. Neil Farmack rounding out that podium, coming back with a bang in this championship, and his fight to get out of the demotion zone is going great guns. Toby losing a handful of points here in the championship. Will it make a difference come the end of the season? We will see. It's exciting. It is very exciting. Unforgiven, another great result for Unforgiven. Some great points there for him. Osman in 6th. I don't know what happened to Osman near the end there. Just didn't seem to have the pace on those older medium tyres, and I think he lost out on a position or two. Smith, somewhere in the midst there, I think he lost away. He got a penalty, didn't he? And he just seemed to lose out. But coming home in 7th, still not bad with good points on those around him. Fitzy in 8th place. Kenny D, we saw had earlier issues in 9th, and Grasshopper also with problems on the first or second lap. Comes home in 10th. What an absolute banger, ladies and gentlemen. As always, from the Ultimate Racing League. The League of Champions has delivered. Don't forget, go hunting for them on Facebook, the Ultimate Racing League. If you want to partake, you should. What else can you do with a Sunday night that isn't as more fun than slinging? Well, they sling Nissans, I sling Suzuka Swifts, others sling whatever their league's racing. But you come and you join. This was a one-make race, Nissans, yeah, all the leagues have one-makes. It just seems to be fairer because the bop is absolutely wacko. Yeah, thanks for joining me here at Thingamajig Racing Channel. And we've had a ball. This was round 7. Next round, round 8, is at Suzuka. And I have heard a rumour that there are rain clouds are gathering in the future. So join us for the next Sunday evening race, and we'll see what the weather does. Thanks for tuning in. Much love. Peace and love. Peace and love. Tooroo. To be continued.